Hi, and welcome to Prototype. We'll be solving the problem for LeetCode 724, find pivot index. And this is another one of the LeetCode 75 study plan problems. Okay, let's read the description. So given an array of integers nums, calculate the pivot index of this array. The pivot index is the index where the sum of all numbers strictly to the left of the index is equal to the sum of all numbers strictly to the index's right. If the index is on the left edge of the array, so position 0, then the sum to the left is 0 because there are no more elements to the left, and the same for the right side. And it wants us to return the leftmost pivot index, and if no such index exists, then return -1. And we'll read the first example. So given a nums array with 6 elements, it wants us to find the pivot index 3, so the fourth element is the pivot element. And here the left side would be 1 plus 7 plus 3, which is 11, and then the right side is 5 plus 6. Okay, fair enough. So the first thing is we'll need a variable for the left sum, and it would probably make the most sense to set that to 0. And then let's leave the right sum for 1 second and let's create our for loop. So for let I equals 0, I less than nums dot length, I plus plus. And then what are we trying to do here? So we want to find the right sum. How do we get the right sum? Well, if we're in position 0, then our left sum is 0, and then our right sum is 7 plus 3, yada, yada, yada. So the, let's say, brute force approach would, let's say, do a sum of the right side. So let's try that. For let j equals to I plus 1, it'll be the right side, so it'll always be I plus 1. And then j less than nums dot length, j plus plus, right sum is equal to, let's go plus equal here, sum, right sum plus equal nums j. And then, okay, so now we have our right sum, and then what are we trying to do? We want to compare if the left sum and the right sum are equal. Okay, so if left sum is equal to the right sum, then what do? We return the index. And we're tracking the pivot index simply from our first for loop with the variable I. Okay. And then otherwise, we'll need to advance one position. So our left sum will add the current element I. Okay, and then if it's found, then the I will be returned. Otherwise, we need to return the sentinel value -1. So let's give that a shot. Okay, so it passes the 3 test cases here. However, obviously, we can definitely do a little bit better because currently we're using polynomial time, so n squared, because we're going to be looping through the nums, all the element in nums, and then also more or less again all the elements in nums again, because we'll have to recompute the right sum every time. However, if we take a look at the nums array, we know that the elements inside the array do not change. So the sum at the 0th position is 7 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6, but the sum at the position after that, so moving over here, the right sum would be 3 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6. So all we're doing is actually subtracting the right sum, subtracting the pivot element from the right sum. So let's do a quick refactor here. So we'll start here, remove the inner loop. How do we initialize our right sum? Well, we can just sum it right away. So let's just do that in JavaScript. We can use the reduce operator. A plus B, accumulator will pass in 0. Other languages probably have an easier way to find the sum. Now this is currently the sum of all the elements in the array, but that's not what we want because the right sum is strictly to the right. So we also need to take out num0, the first element. Okay, now back to our condition. Okay, so if the left sum is equal to the right sum, return the index. Great. Otherwise, we need to advance our position, so advance our index. The left sum will just add the current element, and then our right sum needs to subtract not the current index element, but the one directly to the right. So in our first position, it's 0, and then we're checking 7, 3, 6, 5, 6. So we're checking, again, checking 7, 3, 6, 5, 6. And then once we move over to the 7, so the second element, then we're checking for 3, 6, 5, 6. So we're going to have to subtract the element after. And obviously this will fail because we would be out of bounds on the final check. So we just need to see if the right sum is not null because 0 is a falsy value. Better be safe than sorry. And that should do it. Passes the 3 test cases and submit. And there you go. So that's the JavaScript solution for LeetCode 724. Find the pivot index. Subscribe for more. We'll be following up with the rest of LeetCode 75 study plan in short order. Thank you. See you next time.